me and you today. How everyone is doing. Feel free to ask questions in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, feel free to write comments or to ask questions and I'll be answering them. Okay, so welcome to my live. My live, our live, right? If you're familiar with my channel is all about spirituality and about relationships, how it relates with to the relationships with ourselves and with others, right? And we talk about all the emotional stuff that not a lot of people talk about, like needing external validation and people pleasing and all the things that not really a lot of people talk about in the spiritual community. So this is your safe place. Feel free to talk about everything you want related to those topics. As long as it's legal, you can go ahead and ask questions about it. Okay, so today's topic, are you feeling empty inside? All of us at certain point of our life feel empty inside, right? And sometimes we don't even know why we feel empty, right? So you are not the only one. So in this life, we're going to talk about why you are really feeling empty and simple ways to change it. Okay, a lot of the time when we feel empty, it's because we feel like something missing and we don't even know why, right? It's like it's strange feeling and you can't even describe it. And you know what? And everything even can go well in your life, but still you feel like something is missing. And we're going to talk about it because even a lot of our successful people, they have like everything that you can imagine, but they still not fulfilled, right? And there's a reason. Okay, so what are the reasons for you to feel like you are feel emptiness inside? A lot of the time it's emotional exhaustion, right? Like people, you just can't do it anymore, right? You are in the same, doing the same routine, like everything, the same thing, like it's a different day, but the same routine. And you don't do anything that is out of the ordinary, and you feel like exhausted, right? You can't do it anymore. This is one of the reasons. A lot of the time you also feel disconnected from yourself, or you feel maybe unseen or unsupported. You feel alone, right? You lose even interest in things that once made you happy. And especially if you are on a spiritual journey, because when you're going through your spiritual awakening, at the beginning, you are going to feel like the thing that you just once made you happy, now you don't feel like really happy doing those things, right? Or a lot of the people that you used to be connected to, now you just, you're not really on the same level, right? Because you evolve so much, so they don't really you don't have the same you are not in the same vibration. You can feel that we're doing everything right, but we still feel like something is missing. We all heard about those celebrities that once they reach a level of success, a certain level of success, everything just went downhill, right? Because a lot of the time we are really outcome dependent, and we depend our happiness, and we think that once we achieve certain success or we achieve certain things in our life, we're going to be happy, or this is going to fulfill us. And then we actually sometimes we do receive, a lot of the time we receive what we want, and and still like we have like the excitement for a while, and afterwards it's like we feel the same emptiness that we used to before we achieved that thing, because nothing that is external, that is outside of ourselves, can actually make us happy and make us feel like we are all and complete. So a lot of the time we feel this feeling of emptiness. So when you feel this feeling of emptiness, the first step is just to accept it, right? Don't resist this feeling, because it's just an emotion, and an emotion comes and go. Emotions doesn't last forever. What we call the positive emotions, or what we call the negative emotions, right? So feeling emptiness is just one of those emotions, right? Hi everyone, hi Rich. If you have questions, feel free to ask in the chat. So today we are talking about this feeling of emptiness, right? So like I said, you can reach a really a high level of success, or you can really achieve what you wanted, and you're still going to feel empty because there's a part of yourself that is like you're disconnected from your true self, right? Because a lot of the time when we live in this kind of society that tells you that you need to be like on the go, like to achieve things, when you achieve them, you don't even allow yourself to, to just relax, and you just to feel like really happy about them. You just, okay, what is the next thing? And this mindset of, okay, what's next, what next, no, you're going to feel this feeling of emptiness, of something is missing, because you're not really present with all the things that you achieved in your life. You always projecting yourself into the future. Oh, what am I going to achieve next? What am I going to do? But you know what? I don't want to be like morbid and stuff, but at certain point, we all not going to be here, right? So when you achieve something, this is something that really changed my life. Like if I'm in a season of my life that everything is like, not going the way I want them to be, you know what I start? I start to fill myself up with things that I love to do. Even the little things, right? Instead, right, contra delayed gratification, right? Exactly. Because when when you don't link your happiness to outside things or people or whatever it will be, material stuff, this is true success. And this is how you can start to feel connected with yourself, right? But you know what? From time to time, we can feel those what we call negative emotions. It doesn't mean that something is wrong, or you are not on the right path, because a lot of the time when we experience delay or setbacks, or when we feel like we are just emotionally exhausted, we don't know even what's going on with us. A lot of the times that, what, I feel like something is, emotionally not good, and I don't even can put my finger on it. So actually that's a good thing, right? Because when you evolve, when you shift, when you raise your vibration, your emotional, you have like a frequency, and your frequency, it's not the same frequency as it was before. Like, so you find yourself like you don't really like the thing that used to make you happy, you don't really like doing them, or maybe things that used to make you happy, you don't want to do it anymore, or they even make you miserable, right? Because you are not the same person anymore. So when I say, like, what, the best thing that I found when I feel this like emptiness, or when I feel like, maybe you can call it like sadness, or something that sometimes things are not going to go the way that you want. This is a practice of mine. I started to fill myself up with the things that I love, even if it's like a little things, right? Even like go buy lunch at your favorite place, or maybe just, sometimes it's good. I don't watch a lot of television, but sometimes just watch your favorite show, or sometimes just fill yourself up. And and I know that sometimes it's hard, but you can fill yourself up without needing anyone external for it. Of course, we are social creatures, and we want to, to feel connected to other people, but the most powerful thing that I found is to fill yourself up with the thing that you love. Like, it sounds cliche, like be your own best friend, but, and I said it I say it in a lot of my videos. Who's really the only person who can give yourself what you want to experience from others? Who is that person? It's you, right? Right, Rich? This is our lives, right? So you are the only person that can fill yourself up really, because you can do like things and to get like material things that will make you happy for a while, but it's not really going to be sustainable, right? And it's not going to be fulfilling for a long period of time, because there's a difference between, if you want to achieve things in your life, it's all good, right? But there's a difference. If you want, you can do it from two different reasons. You can do it from a reason of feeling like something is missing, right? Or feeling you are not good enough, or feeling that you're not going to feel all and complete until you get this thing, right? So you try to achieve a lot of things, and of course you're going to feel emptiness, because at the basic, it's not a good basic to start to attract things into your life. Like when you are, when you build like a new building, like they have to level up the ground, right? The basics like really have to be strong in order for it to build on it, right? So the foundation, the basics is to be able to give yourself those things that you so craving to get from others, to give yourself those things. And because everything is just a reflection, when you fill yourself up with those things, you're going to start to attract people that also will give those things to you, but it will be like a different experience, rather than you just trying to get things in order for you to feel good about yourself, or to feel like you are good enough, right? So there's a difference for, just you can enrich your life with a lot of things, but at the basics, just you need to be able to be like, to be alone with yourself, or to fill yourself up with the thing that really makes you happy. And this is like an healthy foundation for you to receive everything that you want. And when you receive those things that you want, it's going to be a really different experience, and they are going to be sustainable, and they will bring you joy. And there's a difference between joy and happiness, right? Because the way I see it, happiness is just something that you get, like, oh, right now I receive this car or whatever, and I feel happy about it, right? But in few days, in few weeks, you're going to get used to this new shiny car, and this is just be, oh, okay, so what's next, right? So those things, maybe they can give you some kind of comfort, but it's not going to give you a lasting joy. You can be filled with a lot of joy, but you can, necessarily be happy. So for me, feeling joy, it's like feeling a sense of peace, right? Because think about it, when you have a lot of ups and downs, it's usually because it's outcome dependent, right? This is something is external that, oh, I'm so excited, it makes me excited. But it's like, it's like having, like, after you drink a lot, right? And you have, like, so you feel really high. But what happened afterwards, the day after? You have an hangover, right? So this is the duality, right, that existing in the universe. You can feel high, you can feel down. But if you want to find the lasting joy, is actually to find the middle ground, right? When it's just not too high, it's not too low, like everything for you, it's like normal and peaceful. And this is true joy, right? Because believe me, right, we all been there, we all experience it from time to time. When you link your happiness, or your state of being, or you link your sense of identity, you link it to other people, or you link it to the way that others respond to you, or that others talk to you or treat you or whatever. Yes, of course, we are human, right? It affects us, but the real key is to will be excuse me, the will key is to really be anchored in your energy when you don't really need a lot of things or external things to really make you happy, because you make yourself happy. And I know it sounds cliche, but this is how it is. Like, think about it. Before you attracted a lot of good things in your life, like for me, you know, when I attracted a lot of good things in my life, I told myself right before I received it, you know what, whatever. I don't want this. I don't need this to be happy. I'm complete. I've got everything I need right here. And you know what? Even if I don't believe it, I'm telling myself, you know, I'm complete. I've got everything I need right here. And I don't need anything external or outside of myself to make me happy. This is like what, like at the beginning of my spiritual awakening, it was like my mantra, you know, because every emotion that you want to feel, you can make yourself feel without any evidence or something that is external, right? So Rich is asking, feeling down due to emotional attachment. Yeah, that's another thing. Attachment, I think the Buddha said it. It's not really the attachment, it's the root of all evil, right? Because what's its attachment? Attachment, it's when your all, you know, it can be like this. Your whole life is dependent. Oh no, you know, it's gotta work. I got to succeed, you know, to have success in this exam, or I have to have this relationship, or, you know, I need to, like, a lot of self-pressure, right? And you know what? Think about it. When you received a lot of things that you wanted in your life, were you attached to them? No. It's either, maybe at the beginning you were attached to them, right? Hi everyone. Maybe at the beginning you were attached to them, but afterwards you receive them when you're like, you know what? I don't want it, you know, I'm good either way. Whether I receive it or not, I'm good either way. When you release the attachment, right? So I think that your question was how to release the attachment. Again, to bring it back to you and to yourself, and to know that everything that you want, because when we want things externally, we don't really want the thing, we want the emotions, right? That relates to these things that we want to feel those emotions. So if we want to have something like I said, like a new car or a new home, you want this like emotion of satisfaction, right? Or if you want a lot of abundance, you want to feel safe within yourself. Or if you want this, you know, relationship, you want to feel loved, right? But every emotion that you want, you can make yourself feel right now. You know, you can do it right now. Like, just think about and imagine the thing that you want to accomplish right now. Let's say, right, you visualize it right now, so you can start to feel those emotions in your body, like it's actually happening right now, right? So you just have to give yourself permission to feel it. And when you feel it, everything is going to work in your external reality, right? So, and by the way, oh, thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Okay, so, you know, so when you feel like you feel a sense of emptiness, the first step that I want you like to do, just accept it, because everything we experience in our reality is a cause and effect. So if it's already existing in your reality, it's already happened, right? So what's the point? What's the point to resist it? There is no point to resist it. So emptiness is just an emotion. An emotion, you know, they come and go. It's not permanent. So when you feel the sense of happiness, just, you know, accept it, right? Accept it, and and then realize one of the main causes for you to feel any negative emotions or emptiness. Guess what? Do you know what? Our mind, right? Hi everyone. Our mind, our mind is the main cause for us to feel all the negative emotions, or to feel emptiness or loneliness, right? Because think about it, when you have like negative emotions, usually when you feel those emotions, it's because you thought a certain thought in your mind, right? Just before that, or you had a lot of negative thoughts, right? So your thoughts, actually, your emotions is the body response to your thoughts, right? And vice versa. So when you don't feel when you feel like you overthink things, right? You have a lot of thoughts, and you think about the future, or you think about the past. You usually you feel a lot of negative emotions, and you're going to feel it instantly in your body, right? So if you can control, you can stop thinking altogether, but you can start. Like one of the things that I do all the time, this is what's mindfulness is. You can start observe your thought, right? And when you observe your thought, they will still continue. You can't really stop your thoughts altogether, but in time, if you're going to practice it, they're not going to affect you that much, right? They're just like clouds passing by in the sky, right? They're just, they're just clouds passing by in the sky, and it's all about like accepting the present moment as it is, right? So think about it. When you overthink about something, right, you identify with your thought. Therefore, all of a sudden, you feel like all those emotions in your body. But if you start to observe your thought, right? This is me and this is my thoughts, right? You're going to feel a little bit like disconnected or distant from your thoughts, right? And you feel like, like you're watching a movie, like you're watching yourself on a screen. And this is what's going to allow you to really disconnect from your mind and from future and past thinking. And of course, what is the remedy? The present moment. Because our mind is always in the past or in the future. So if you feel emptiness, most likely, you think about all the things that are going wrong in your life, right? Or what you don't have, what's not happening, right? Where is your focus? Where is your focus, right? So a lot of, I'm going to say it over and over and over again. When you feel emptiness, a lot of time you feel like you don't have something to be grateful for. But is it really? Or you just don't focus on, you just take for granted the things that you have, right? So think about it. It's all about our focus. If you focus on what you do have, even if you think that it's not much, or you want more, what happens? Everything that you focus on amplifies, right? So if you think about something that you really appreciate, the universe will give you more things to be grateful for, right? So there's a saying that being grateful is richness and complaint is poverty, right? So those feeling of emptiness, I think that when we, for a long period of time, focus on things that we are missing in our life, or we don't think that we have enough, or we are not grateful, right? That's why you feel emptiness. But you still have your health. Most likely you have a roof over your head, right? There are people that don't have a roof over their head. They don't have their health, right? Or they don't have like food to eat, right? So there's a lot of things that you can be grateful for, and by shifting your focus from what is lacking, shifting it to what do I have right now? What can I be grateful for? That's why for me, because it's really easy, be grateful, be grateful, but this is the most powerful technique to be grateful for things, because think about it. When you say thank you, usually you say thank you because you received something that you wanted, right? Or something good happened, so you say thank you, right? So if you're going to say thank you before you see something that you want happening, you say thank you in advance. So what do you think that you are projecting to the universe? You are projecting to the universe that you already have it. So if the universe is just one big copying machine, right? And you're projecting that you already have the thing that you want, or you are really grateful for what you have right now, even if it's not a lot, even if it's not what you want it to be, right? Or even if you want more. So your starting point is always to be grateful for where you are right now, right? Because when you are grateful for where you are right now, first, when you are in gratitude, you can't really be in gratitude and think negative thoughts, right? Like from time to time, of course, we're going to think negative thoughts, but if you're going to do it like a habit, right? And like every day I write 10 things that I'm grateful for me, it's really helped me to maintain this state of mind, just scripting and writing, right? Because our mind, our ego mind is really powerful, and there's a lot of distractions in our reality, right? Like all the social media and all the people and the news or whatever, if you are about these things or this disaster or whatever. So it's really easy for us to get into a fearful state of mind or a lack state of mind, right? Because people, just look around you, your friends, family, most of the time they are complaining, right? Oh, you know how much that cost, or have you seen what happened, or they are constantly complaining about the weather or whatever, right? And then they just don't know why things are not working for them. I'm not judging, of course. This I'm telling it to myself as much as I'm telling it to you, right? But now I just know the tools. So every time a negative state of mind is taking over, I know exactly what to do. Shift myself into the present moment. Ask myself, you know what, Limor, you're feeling right now that negative emotions, or you feel right now this, feeling of emptiness, or something is missing. So what's really missing? I'm asking myself, what am I not giving to myself right now? Why do I have to search something externally? Because there's something right now that I don't give myself, right? So this is like the real keys to be curious about this and to ask yourself question, you know what do I feel like? What did I think like before I just felt like really sad or felt like really negative, right? I'm sure that if you are going to ask yourself those questions, you will know exactly where did it come from and what is the problem, right? So, and a lot of the time, it's not even us, it's our mind. And this is how we are programmed, so it's not really not our fault, right? But our job right now, and especially if you are watching this live, so you have like a really you are a really aware being, right? You have a great awareness. So if you do have awareness, so you can start to ask yourself questions about it and be curious about it. What if it is an unreachable special person? You know what? You know what? What I've learned, we just have to give ourselves what we want to experience from others. So when we are going to give ourselves those things, right? These emotions of love, like let's say you want to evoke emotions of love inside of yourself, right? So just, like for me, I can watch a flower, or I can see a butterfly, or I think about the things that, like if I have a pet, I will think about my dog or whatever. So just to think about how is love is present in this moment in my life right now. And when I start to embody the emotion of love, because I become love, right? So guess what? This person that you want, if it's really meant for you, it will be yours, right? Or something better. But you are going to attract people that are in the same vibrational frequency as yours. But the real key is to first feel those emotions of love inside of you and to know that you are good either way. This is where the detachment comes, right? You can put your intentions are great. Put your intentions to the universe. You can visualize it right from time to time. But every time you start to feel this sense of attachment, or you feel this sense of, oh, I need to have it, I gotta have it, how do I have it? Just, you know what, you know what, no. You know what? I'm good either way. Even if you don't believe it, just tell it to yourself and you will start to believe it. I'm good either way, and I know that the universe has something great in store for me, right? So it's all about you. Actually, I don't want to say the word arguing, but it's all about you having a conversation with your mind and telling your mind exactly what you want to experience, and to tell your mind that, you know what, we're good either way. We are not attached, right? Yeah, unless it's a yes, unless it's a Medusa, right? Yes. And you know what? But so anything you want, when I received anything that I wanted, right before that, I was like, I do it like most of, every day, almost every day, I reminding myself, because it's really easy. Oh yeah, just think positive or whatever, but it's a lifestyle. It's a habit and routine. So if you are on a consistent basis, just remind yourself that you are good either way, that you don't really need external things to validate you or for you to feel good about yourself. So you're going to feel better, right? You won't feel this like feeling of emptiness or loneliness or whatever. You're going to feel detached, right? And you know what going to happen after a certain period? Your outer reality is going to realign itself with your inner reality. So it's all about being consistent. It's a way of life. It's a lifestyle. It's not something that you do here and there, right? Or some kind of manifestation technique. The manifestation technique is you. And it's your inner state, and it's your inner being, and it's your inner reality, and it's the thing that you are telling yourself every day, right? And the practices that you are doing every day, like practice being present, like how do you can start to be present? Start to use your breath, because when you focus on your breath, just go ahead and try. In a split second, you won't think in any thought, right? You can do those things together, right? Or start absorbing your thoughts. So it's all about embracing a lifestyle, and when you embrace this lifestyle, so your outer reality is going to change accordingly. You just have to be persistent about it, and you have to have faith that everything is going to, the universe is going to rearrange everything for you, and everything is going to realign, especially for you, right? And it's okay to think that you are the center of the universe, because you are the center of your universe. Everyone lives in their own universe, right? So it's okay. So it's just about being persistent. So this live, I call this live, are you feeling like empty, right, inside? So every negative emotions that it's not that you don't want to experience, it all really starts within. And of course we are going to have those negative emotions every day, but when you start to practice things that are going to help you to stay in a more positive state of mind, right? So it's going to be much more easier for you if you're going to turn it into your a lifestyle, right? And you're going to practice it every day. So it's going to be a lot more easier for you to deal with those negative emotions or negative thoughts when they do come, right? So that's, it's really simple. Everyone is doing it, like really so complicated. And of course we live in a society that they tell you that if you want to feel good about yourself, you have to go and buy a certain product, or you have, of course, like from time to time it's great, like to treat yourself and to go to the mall or whatever, right? Of course, but this is not to use it like as something that is going to be like something that will cover the emotional wounds or the emotional unease or the all the the stuff you have inside that you don't really want to deal with, right? Because you know what, sometimes we have just to face it to heal it, right? You have to experience it to heal it. So when you trying to avoid negative emotions, or when you try to avoid those I don't want to tell like trauma. It can be trauma or negative experiences or negative past experiences that you really want like face with all those negative emotions as a result from those experiences. You didn't really allow yourself to experience them or to experience the sadness or the disappointed or whatever, so you're just going to stuff it into your body and then it becomes trauma. But sometimes, so if you feel any negative emotions, sometimes the most powerful things is just to allow yourself to experience these emotions. You know what? I actually talk to the negative emotion. Okay, because like if like let's say like most of the day I feel like something it's I don't feel so positive. So I'm telling myself, oh, you know what? I see you. Like I see you negative. I see this like say like sadness. So I say, I just acknowledge this emotion. And you know what happens? Just by you acknowledging these emotions, you start to disappear. It's like magic, right? It's like magic. I'm telling you, those negative emotions or those feelings that you don't want to face, they just want acknowledgement, And when you acknowledge them, they're going to dissipate or to disappear completely. Just, just give it a try. Next time when you start to feel maybe a negative emotions or some kind of emotion that you don't want to experience, just talk to these emotions directly and, say, oh, okay, I see you. Yeah, what do you want? What do you want to tell me? You know, you're going to start to feel much better, right? It's like, because when you try to avoid something, you actually attract more of it. Have you ever experienced like a situation that you don't want, you're telling yourself, you know what, I just want to, don't want to experience it. I just don't want to deal with it. I just don't want just to see this person. And what happens? You see this person, you experience this experience, like everything that you don't want to experience, you attract it into your reality because you resist it. But if you just welcome it, I think that is Rhonda Byrne. She's the author of The Secret, of one of those books. She said something really powerful, that you just have to actually welcome your positive emotions. Like, and she's done like this, like you want to embrace, you open your arms to these emotions. It's like, those unwanted guests or visitors that just show up at your door and you just, oh no, I'm not home. But you know what? If you just acknowledge them, like open the door, like talk to him like 5 minutes, everything will be cool, right? So actually, challenge yourself. This is a lot of the time I like challenge myself and dare myself. You know what? Because you are scared to do it, and it's just a little things. You want to face those negative emotions because you are so scared to think about this, like a past negative experience, or because you are so scared to deal with those emotions, right? Or because you are so scared to do something, right? You know what? I challenge myself and I'm go ahead and doing it. It's like when you think you have a monster under your bed, right? All you have to do, you're so scared to look under your bed, right? Because, oh my God, like when you're a kid, I have a monster under my, you just, pick under your bed and you see that there's nothing there, you're going to feel so much relief and less stressful because you face it. So I'm really all about facing it to heal it, feeling it to heal it, experience it to heal it. And in regards to your emotions, it's allowing yourself, just allow yourself, maybe when you think about this bad experience or these negative emotions or the things that you don't want to think about that happened years ago and you didn't really face those negative emotions, sometimes you are going to break down. Like for me, when I released one of my traumas, right, I had a coach at the time. I really she asked me about it and I really broke down. Like I cried, I think for 20 minutes straight. I don't know, it felt like 20 minutes. You know what? So, and you know what? Because when after you cry, most of the time you're going to feel relieved, right? Because you just released everything. So it's okay to face those emotions and to let yourself, break down. Just allow yourself, just be in a safe place, right? When you know that you're not, if you don't want to be around people, or even more powerful, you can be around someone that is really compassionate. There is a saying that healing occurs in the presence of a compassionate witness, right? So even if you have a really good friend that it's not judgmental, or a coach or whatever, so allow yourself to face those emotions, just embrace them and just see what happens. I guarantee that if you are going to face those emotions, if you are going to invite them in, right, 90%, you're going to experience 90% of the healing. I promise you that. So my challenge for you is that next time that you feel like you experience something negative, or even you feel like negative emotions with no reason, the first thing that you can do is just to accept it and to allow it, and even talk to the emotions. Oh, I see you. Yes, what do you want? It's going to be more, you're going to feel like more, a little bit more playful and less heavy about it, right? So just embrace this emotion, and then you can really ask yourself, you know what? If it's something that on a regular basis I feel emptiness, I feel sadness, I feel certain kind of emotion that I don't want to experience. So maybe ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Because maybe there's something that, unconsciously we can think about things that we don't want to, because this is how we were programmed. We think about the thing that we don't want to experience rather than the thing that we do want to experience. So over time it compounds, right? And then you start to feel overwhelmed, and then you don't know, you think that something is missing and you feel like something is wrong with you. But all you have to do is just to accept this emotion when it comes, and then ask yourself questions. And if you're watching this video, so you have a high level of awareness, so you can start to ask yourself question, is there a reason that I feel this kind of emotions, like I've been feeling it for the past like months or years or whatever? Maybe there is something that needs my attention. A lot of the time it's just our inner child that needs just to be loved and embraced and to feel supported by us. It sounds like cliche, like, oh, your inner child or whatever. But the most powerful comfort and reassurance that you can experience is the reassurance that you give yourself. This is the most powerful thing. When you give it to yourself, you actually give it to your inner child. Because what is your inner child? It's the part of yourself that really didn't feel, haven't felt like heard or seen or acknowledged when you were little, by, you can say, by your parents or by your friends, or if you experience bullying like I was experiencing, right? So you always seek this external validation from your parents or from your friends. So that's why the most powerful thing is to learn to give it to yourself. And when you learn to give it to yourself, you won't be like a leaf in the wind, right? Things will happen and it's not going to affect you that much, and you're going to be like a strong foundation that you created with yourself. So I hope you enjoyed this live. So if you're watching the replay, feel free to ask questions. So thank you for everyone for engaging in the chat. I'm going to see you next Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching. Love you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.